Hello
And welcome
to
another. What is it that you say? Another.
well, it doesn't really
commentary.
apply because this isn't my match. This is the week 3
Yes.
feature match between Specialty and Turtle Hippo in the G5 division.
Yes.
And
we haven't done commentary in a while, so it's nice to be back. I thought I'd just read the little blurbs that Tracer put together for both of these players because they're all you need to know. So Specialty is playing his 7th league season, but this will be his first match since season 58, and is hoping to shake off some rust. Oopsie.
Dust rust.
Specialty is from Australia and is a full-time law student, though when not occupied with that or Dominion likes to boulder and play field hockey, so we're rooting for them on account of the bouldering. Turtle Hippo is playing in his first league season ever, expanding from playing board games with family and friends to include all of us too. Turtle Hippo is starting a master's in math in the fall. Outside of Dominion, Turtle Hippo speedruns Super Mario 64 and sings, having been in choirs for the last 8 years, so we vote for them. We root for them singing. On account of the singing.
Right. Also...
And I did check if Turtle Hippo is, in fact, an avatar animal, and it's not.
Alas.
All right.
Okay, so we've got the first board here. The players haven't gotten too far in, which is considerate of them.
That's very friendly.
Both players with 3-4 or 4-3 opening. And... so we've got Counterfeit, Forager Trashing, and Raise, and technically Necromancer with the Zombie Mason. We've got a little bit of sort of normal draw with Moat, but then you can also King's Court your moats, or King's Court Courier is kind of like draw. It doesn't like increase your hand size, but it does put stuff into play, which is draw-esque.
What I like on this board is that you can transport King's Courts.
You can.
So it's not as expensive.
Yeah, you can get to King's Court pretty quickly that way.
And also, like, Traveling Fair is nice. Oopsie.
I wonder if that was what they were aiming for.
I've been so trigger happy, like, with TGG that at this point I would just resign. Like, not my time.
There's a 1 in 7 chance of that happening, so I'm assuming they were just like, well, I'd like to trash a card. But I don't value Zombie Mason trashing very highly as like an early game sort of general like thinning thing, unless I like know what I have that I'm going to be seeing. So I wouldn't have done that in that situation. I'm not saying it's incorrect, but I would have probably just played Zombie Spy. Although I don't know that I would have opened Necromancer in the first place.
I guess it's also different here because it's like Necromancer, right? Still play the Forager.
But you won't.
Forever, but it's still annoying.
But you won't get to until the next shuffle.
Yeah.
Yep. In any case,
why did Specialty buy Berry Treasure?
It's a good question.
Why would you go Berry Treasure over Counterfeit?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't think I would. Maybe there's a specific circumstance in which I'd be like, well, if I get Buried Treasure, then next turn I can do something. But in general, I would prefer Counterfeit.
Do you think they're going to buy a King's Court? Or should they buy Traveling Fair Moat Fishing Village?
Also just double transport King's Court.
Oh no, never.
There's like, if you have plus buy, there's no real reason to buy King's Court over like double transport King's Court.
Okay, but what about Traveling Fair Mode Fishing Village?
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many actions they have down there, but not very many, I guess. They have a Forager.
They have a Forager.
Do they also have the Courier? I think they do. Yeah, they do. So, King's Court already looking like a reasonable option to top deck. You're very likely to find at least one of those cards. In any case, I didn't finish talking about... So I talked about draw, and I talked about trashing. Buys, obviously, you've got Counterfeit and Buried Treasure, and Forager, there's plenty of buys. There's also Traveling Fair if you need that. And then plus actions, you've got Fishing Village, and then you've got, of course, King's Court. You don't even need that much. Well, I guess Gondola can also give you an actions in a pinch. Oh, yeah, that does not look good to me at all. Yeah.
So, yeah, this just does not look like a money board to me. So what we would like to see is more of building and action cards and
Hard to produce coin. You don't need that much money, though. At least not in the early going. Like, you might eventually want Buried Treasure, but I think in the early game, I would rather... A, I would rather get Counterfeit. B, I would rather top deck a King's Court. And then, like, potentially King's Court, the Forager that I have down there, or failing that, King's Court, the Courier, which then finds the Forager. But they actually chose not to play Forager and chose to play Buried Treasure instead. So they're definitely playing it more
money.
More money-ish, yeah.
Well, do you think they have the little big money icon?
I don't know.
On Discord.
I don't know.
Well, now they don't have a choice. Gotta play.
Here, you could actually gain 2 King's Courts. You could transport King's Court and then buy King's Court. You wouldn't get to top deck them, but... I mean...
I don't know if we're gonna see King's from them.
Yeah, that is a very early province. You can... I mean... Like, you can actually draw a lot of cards with King's Court Moat. Like, I know Moat draw in general is not very strong, but with King's Court, Moat, and then play, like, you know, I don't know, Courier or something, and Forager, whatever, Necromancer, you can get a lot of, you can get so Specialty is the big moneyer, and Turtle Hippo is the Super Mario 64, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can get a lot of draw here. So I definitely don't think you need to play this sort of like, I'm just gonna play, you know, like have some Buried Treasures and some other money cards and buy a province per turn. I don't know how many provinces I would be aiming for exactly. It might depend on what my opponent does, but definitely more than 1 per turn.
Sorry, I was trying to think of a name. Just don't remember. I haven't seen. What's her name? I don't. Oh. Anyway, never mind.
Interesting. So this time they did pick up the Forager and not the Buried Treasure. I'm not sure what to make of that. It maybe just reflects a, like, not having, like, a specific game plan, like changing your mind about, like, what your priorities are, but...
Do you think Turtle Hippo's going into the Buried Treasures now, too, because they're concerned about the two gained provinces?
It's certainly possible.
I
haven't been paying as much attention to what Turtle Hippo has done, but they've certainly gained some Necromancers, which do not seem amazing to me here. I mean, it's almost never bad to have a Necromancer in your deck, but I don't know what having several of them really accomplishes here.
I mean, they have 2 on account of trashing Forager with their first Necromancer, right? And getting Necromancer off that. I don't really know whether they have a 3rd one.
I mean, I think you could argue that even the second one that they gained off the Forager could have just been Courier instead, but it was like,
yeah.
I guess it depends. Courier versus Zombie, it's essentially Courier versus Zombie Spy if you assume you're going to play the other Necromancer as Forager, which is like, you know, could go either way on that. certainly like the third necromancer, unless you're going to be using zombie apprentice. And like this board doesn't in general look that amazing for zombie apprentice, and certainly like you want to be like thinning more aggressively and taking less treasure so that you line up stuff. Although I mean, I guess Turtle Hippo hasn't actually taken that much treasure, but
no, I think it's just those two.
Well, they've got the silver as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the time for King's Courts may have passed.
I disagree. Well, I think if somebody like, I think there is time for somebody to win the game like right now by investing in like having draw and having an explosive turn. Like nobody is threatening multiple province turns. You can get multiple provinces and some duchies if you need them by like taking a turn or two to just like actually build stuff. You don't need that much. Like Transport King's Court can get you a lot of King's Courts at once, and you can get other stuff too, right? Like. I mean, I guess I could believe that. I'm not exactly sure what Turtle Hippo's deck composition is, but I guess I could believe that their deck composition is such that they're not actually getting much value from King's Court because they just don't have good action cards in their deck.
Well, they have 3 necromancers.
Right, but the problem with
I don't know. Can you show me the trash, please?
The problem with King's Courting.
Okay,
there's one in the trash. Why is there one in the trash?
Probably trash.
Yeah, but the problem with King's Courting Necromancer in particular, of course, is that you can still only use one thing per play. So like Necromancer is like in general one of the worst King's Court targets. I mean, obviously situationally it can be very good, but just sort of by default.
Village? No.
I mean, if they want to hit province, but there's not I guess they're not hitting province anyway. Well, they could raise a state, and then no, there's no way that hits province either. I guess they could play moat. No, but they don't. They're out of actions. When did this?
I mean, yeah, they could.
When did this forager get into their hand? What?
They could draw. They could play moat and draw to.
Why didn't they play the forager before they played the couriers?
They could do this, but that's not.
Oh, right, never mind. They can forge the estate, of course. I'm just confused about why they played the forager after the couriers. Like, they had the forager and the estate in hand. If they just play that first, then they could, if you wanted to play a terminal mode or something, you could do it and still have played your forager.
I don't know. I'm not. I'm not seeing it.
Seeing what?
The vision.
For what?
For this, like this strategy, I don't know.
Like what they're trying, like for what Specialty is doing, or for?
I guess like either of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, Specialty is just playing like you said, a money deck, basically. Buried treasure, money deck.
A buried treasure deck.
I mean, I will say, I think there's an argument to be made that they, like, the 2 best cards on the board are the cards that they haven't touched. King's Court and Counterfeit. Well, I mean, there's also Gondola, but... I guess I see Specialty's vision better than I see Turtle Hippo's. Like, I'm not really sure what Turtle Hippo is going for here.
Well, I think Turtle Hippo is doing the classic thing, which is like, I think I have a strategy, but then my opponent does something else, so I change my strategy and try to catch them.
I think in general, I would recommend against that.
What? News to me. Yeah, I mean, this works out for special. I mean, they're not going to win this.
Is it possible that they win this turn? They've got a buried treasure in play. That's 3, 4, 5 from the couriers. If they play the forager, they'll allow them to play the other courier. Forager can trash moat. That's 6. Copper is 7. They might win this turn. Well, they also got the fishing village. So yeah, you play fishing village.
Okay, that helps. Yeah. Play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Game 1. Going to the very special.
It's their specialty. Yeah, so this deck only had 5 buried treasures, but they did do a reasonable job of thinning it down with Raise and Forager, and couriers let you play those buried treasures a little bit more frequently than you would otherwise, because you don't necessarily have to wait an entire shuffle for them to come back around. Obviously, it depends on when you see the couriers and when you see the buried treasures, but...
Click on a button. Not you.
Yeah, I guess they're not aware of the color indicator that red, the player with the red name is first player and the blue is second player.
That doesn't surprise me. If they're not watching a lot of...
Yeah, it's easy to miss. I don't know how long it took me to figure that out, but it wasn't especially quick.
It wasn't immediate, yeah. It wasn't intuitive.
All right, so this board, we've got Tomb.
Cheap Forum.
Yeah.
Ronin. And plus buy in the form of and plus gains of master, which is nice with like the hands.
Yeah.
Innkeeper is nice with Hunting Lodge and Ronin, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, this is workable.
Yeah, it's a very DTX friendly board. Hunting Lodge, Innkeeper, Hideout, even Ronin, as you said, Forum, and then like you've got things like you can play Monument and Sacred Grove like as payload along the way. They both open Hideout Silver. That seems reasonable enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Forum Silver.
I do think you want to get started on the trashing. Hideout is a little bit of an awkward way to do that, because like you don't like you want to trash estates, but then you gain curse, and it's like not great, and you don't really get any value from the plus actions right now. So it is like opening Hideout like this is always like a little bit underwhelming. Forum would be better if you were specifically trying to hit 5. So I could see the argument for that of like, okay, I just want to get like a Sculptor or Sacred Grove, or I don't know, what would your first 5 be? I guess I'd probably go Sculptor.
I'd probably go Grove and be punished for it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the interaction, like, there's a lot of cards that Sculptor can usefully gain here.
This is nice. Oh, I guess. Yeah, well,
And there's a lot of them are 4s, so like arguably Sculptor is giving you like a little bit more payload in that sense. And also, you don't have to give your opponent to open hideout with the target being Ronin. Yeah, that was another thing I was thinking about. Like if you do hit 5 and you get the Ronin, then you play hideout, you trash a card, you draw a bunch of cards with Ronin. I think that's also a good option. There's a lot of reasonable approaches here. I don't feel super strongly about it. Anyway, so
it is funny how the bottom row is all 4s and the top row.
It's nice and balanced. So Turtle Hippo got a second hideout, and then Specialty got a second hideout as well. Turtle Hippo hit 5 and got Sacred Grove. Specialty did not and just had to get a silver. And then Turtle Hippo got 2 more hideouts. Okay, that seems maybe a little bit going too ham on the tomb stuff. Like I get it, but you do need like gains as well.
I interpreted it more like, let me get clean and then I'm gonna build my deck back.
Yeah, I would just, I don't know, like 4 hideouts is a lot. I would rather even if you so 8 and 2 buys, I think I would just get a 5 and a silver or something. But like if you want to go 2 4s, maybe you get one more hideout, but then I think you get
another
something
hideout.
else. Oh my god, that's so many hideouts.
And this should be cool.
Monument, yeah, Monument would be an option for sure. I mean, I really think they need a Sculptor. Like they need to start gaining stuff. I mean, right now it's like, oh, you still have plenty of copper, but that is not going to be the case. Like you got like one more shuffle to get through where, and then all of a sudden you're just not going to have a deck anymore.
No, it's right. I think this is a good moment, right? You're going to play this hideout, hoping your hideout has turtle, fresh copper in a state, throw back up with one.
Yeah, it could work out.
A nice turn.
It could work out.
What are we waiting for?
I don't know. Your Ronin is not in your shuffle yet, so you do not use Ronin is the answer to your question.
Yeah.
I also think I haven't been tracking how carefully, or haven't been carefully tracking what to the extent to which they've been trashing estate versus copper, but that is something to pay attention to with hideout. Is like it can be correct to trash copper before estate with hideout, which is awkward, but like actually reducing, the size of your deck.
So the way that shadow cards work is you shuffle your at the back of your deck, and then you peek out from the back, and then you can click on them, or click on. Well, there's 2 ways. Either you click on the card, or you click on.
That maybe that's only true on TGG. I don't know. It's like you can see it at the like above peeking out from the deck, like you said. I think here you just click on that. I think on TGG there's like a shadow panel. Maybe you can open the shadow cards panel and click on it there.
On TGG there's like a little icon.
Yeah.
You click the icon.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Are you gonna play this last hideout? Ooh.
I guess I don't know if I've ever had a reason to click on shadow cards and play it from there. Oh no, we played that before the Sacred Grove? But why?
Yeah. Yes. You want to play...
I mean, I guess in this case it actually isn't going to matter.
Is it just this one curse and discard?
Yeah, it shouldn't matter unless they get... If they get Wind's Gift... Wind's Curse. Well, it could matter also. It could have also mattered if they gained like a silver, like they got a Mountain's Gift and they wanted to have the silver.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Ooh.
you wanted to play the
Discard
Sacred
your
Grove.
silver.
There's really no advantage to having played the Sacred Grove. Like, okay, I guess that's not entirely true. You could have gotten Flame's Gift.
You should have discarded 2 silver that you could trash 2 silvers.
Probably. I mean, it's possible that they know that they have more copper down or curses down there that they can trash, but yeah, that seems likely.
Well, they should
So
definitely like kept their hideout. Or to hide. Oh wait, they did. Yeah, copper and hideout. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, good point. Yeah. So they're both going just for Sacred Groves. I do think you want Sacred Grove on this board, but I also think you want Sculptor, and I think getting a Sculptor maybe before you get any Sacred Groves, but certainly before you get like a second one, because you're gonna have trouble getting as much value. It's not impossible, right, to get enough value out of, like, you can get as much value here out of the 3 buys as you would out of Sculptor. However, Sculptor does gain the card to hand, which is nice. And you're probably going to be gaining 4s. So like Sacred Grove gives you 3 coins. Sculptor can gain you a 4. That's like a little bit more payload than Sacred Grove gives you. The whole boon thing adds another wrinkle to this. Generally speaking, the boons are like slightly more beneficial to the gold. What? Okay. Yeah, so you definitely do not want gold on this board. This is a draw to X board. I mean, it's a little bit more flexible. Like, it's not like it's impossible to play with a gold, but it just does not fit the deck very well.
Can you explain draw to X to our audience, please?
Sure. The idea is like you play cards that reduce the number of cards you have in hand, and then you play a card that draws you up to a certain amount. Ronin draws you up to 7. Hunting Lodge, if you discard, draws you up to 5. In both cases, you want to get cards out of your hand. Gold is not a card that you can play during your turn. You can only play it at the end of your turn. So it's always going to reduce how much draw you can get from Ronin. Whereas Sacred Grove,
you play Sacred Grove and then it leaves your hand.
I was just talking about wanting a Sculptor, but I still do want Sacred Groves, and I want Sacred Grove over gold like 100%. There's a lot of plus actions on this board. You don't really have to worry about the terminal space. There's farmhands, there's hideout, there's hunting lodge.
Yeah. That's all.
There's even like things like sculpt a treasure and then trash it with hideout because there's tomb. So like that'll give you a villager.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at turtlehippo's doing wins. Probably on account of having 4 hideouts.
Yeah, but they don't have a lot of payload, which is why I think they really should get a Sculptor. They're going to buy a gold, aren't they? That's why they didn't trash that copper. No, they didn't. Then why didn't they trash that copper?
The thing is, well, because they need something to trash next turn with their 4 hideouts.
Just trash the silvers or the hideouts.
No. But I'm like, well, maybe just get farmhands, right? Let hideout trash itself.
Yeah. What, you can't literally trash itself, but yeah. You can definitely transition off of hideouts and like it is true that tomb points are a thing. I will point out, however, Monument also gives you a point, and you don't have to keep adding more cards to your deck. Now it is a terminal, and hideout is not, but it doesn't. There's like I said, there's a lot of terminal space on this board, so.
Yeah, especially because then that's another card that leaves your hand, so you draw more.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, so is hideout trashing a card, but it's just hard to have enough gains to make that.
Yeah, turtlehippo just bought a copper.
Right.
In order to have hideout targets, and that's generally, I mean, that is not a thing that never happens, but
yeah, I don't mind it here, like a little bit, like keeping like a hideout or 2 around and trying to trash with it every turn if you have an excess plus buy. I don't mind it. But...
See, so this should not have been a hideout. Like this should have been a farmhands, and you could have set aside the hideout and.
Oh yeah, well, or the Sacred Grove I think you would want to play the Sacred Grove first this turn because you already have 2 hideouts in hand and you don't have a card to trash. And something to keep in mind with the hideout and like gain a copper and whatever is like you have to pair them up. So like it's not as simple as like I have hideouts and then I have coppers and I can trash the coppers with the hideouts and I get 2 points at the end. Like you have to pair them together, and that's not always trivial, especially if hideout is your only source of plus actions. So you're gonna have to play hideout like early in your turn before you can play your Ronin. Rather we'd be feeding with Sculptor than buys. Yeah, I mean I agree. You get the card directly to hand to guarantee that you can pair it with the hideout and you can get a villager off of it. That being said, I would not be trying to sustain like 3, 4, 5 hideouts a turn. But
no. I don't think there's like too much difference between like farmhandsing a hideout. But I
think farmhandsing the Sacred Grove would be better because you might get like Sea's Gift or Rivers or Winds or something. Well, maybe those are all gone now, but you'd make it more likely that you find like the copper that you want to trash with hideout.
Yeah.
You also just play the silver, which is helpful for your Ronin. We're willing to trash hideout with hideout. Yeah, so Tracer in the chat says province over Groundskeeper. So this is another thing. This board has Groundskeeper on it. You can score a lot of points with Groundskeeper. You don't actually necessarily need to take provinces at all on this board.
Yeah.
You can just put a bunch of Groundskeepers in your deck and then like gain a bunch of estates or something. Like maybe buy some duchies. Like that's not to say you shouldn't buy provinces ever or anything like that. But we trashed the Wisp? I don't love that.
Well, I guess the reason being there's not too many cards.
Yeah, I know. I just think we should be aiming to avoid this situation.
Well, I guess if we keep on buying first to hide to keep.
Yeah.
But also, so piles are pretty low.
They are. Nobody has like the right sorts of gains to like put on immediate pile pressure, but yeah, they are.
Well, especially because you're not gonna acquire curses as much anymore because
well, it's like if you had Sculptor, right, it would be easier to like sculpt like hideouts or forums. Probably didn't have the buys.
No, we had 5 buys.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe they're planning to start trashing hideout with hideout.
Maybe.
Anyway, yeah, I think Groundskeepers has a lot to offer on this board.
Oh yeah.
And I would definitely want to invest in that over just taking provinces.
Yep.
Especially because these decks are just not very good right now, so they're not going to gain provinces very quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, really, yeah, I would want to be playing with more of the components in general. But like you could score a pretty good amount of points with Monument here. You could also just like continue feeding your hideouts with Sculptor, as Tracer was talking about. You could add more draw to X with like Hunting Lodges. So you can do some stuff here. And really, somebody who's just single provincing, you could beat them without ever having to take a province yourself. That is, yeah. These decks are, or this deck at least right now, is looking amusingly monolithic.
Top decking 2.
Just trash a hideout with the hideout. Like play this one and trash the other one.
Yeah, I hope that's what's.
They are going to need to replace the actions though. Like they're going to need Hunting Lodge or Farmhands.
Right. Why
do you want 2 golds on top when you're going to play a Ronin?
Why are you discarding your...
That's a good question too. Wait, we drew the Ronin? The other Ronin? Oh, I guess that makes sense. Oh no.
Don't trash Ronin.
Okay.
Sigh of
C's gift is kind of irrelevant for specialty, but there's not really any reason not to take it. Flame's gift, though, you can trash a copper and then maybe they can trash one of these golds with their hideout.
Here, you have 6 buys.
Yeah, I still don't want like a bunch of coppers. I just want to pivot the deck, but I mean, I don't expect that they're going to do that.
Oh.
I mean, given where this deck is right now, I still want Sculptor the most, I think. Yeah.
Hi there. Welcome to the game. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. Province is not at 8. Groundskeeper is at 8.
At 10.
Yeah, at 10.
Sculptor's at 10.
Well,
which is, and then in turn why Farmhands and Innkeeper and Monument are all at 10, and which isn't, I mean, as outrageous.
Here we go. 1 copper for each hideout. Every hideout gets a copper.
We're very fortunate. Maybe we can line all those up.
I mean, this is already more fortunate than I
Yeah,
expected.
it is. It is. It certainly is.
More fortunate than it should be.
Yeah. Above expectation.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh, they just choose not to play the Ronin at all. Did they not have... Oh, now specialty has no plus actions. Unless they get Field's Gift. But even then, it doesn't help that much.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is an incredibly lucky draw.
Unreasonable. Unreasonable.
That's... Yeah. That's crazy.
It is. They're gonna draw their last hideout. It's pretty... Is that 2 Swamps Gift? Oh no. Oh, Moon's Gift. No. I can read.
I think you actually... You said that last card is a hideout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, never mind. Okay, then it doesn't. The Moon's Gift thing doesn't. Special T top decking here. I think they're actually... How many hideouts do they have left? They have multiple hideouts in those 6 cards. What do they top deck? A Hunting Lodge? I'm thinking about like what happens if you get like a draw thing, which...
You're sad.
Well, no. If Turtle Hippo's Sacred Grove gives you a draw thing, you're happy. And you get a village. If Special T's does, then you're sad.
It's nice.
Kind of.
Why not?
Well,
Do you just not like having the gold in your deck?
Yeah. It's good for this turn. I won't deny that. This time not hurt by the wind's gift. Hideout food. Yeah, sure. I don't think they're going to treat it that way, though. The wind's gift. Yeah, that'll do it. All right. Specialty has been saved.
Maybe. We'll see what they do.
Well, I mean...
I don't think they have any other villages down there, do they? Maybe they have one more hideout.
I thought... How many hideouts are in the trash? 2? So 4...
And they saw 3 in their discard.
5, 6, 7, 8... No, yeah, they should have 1 in there.
Oh, right.
Were you thinking about whether they should just chuck the cards? Because I was. Yeah, well, whatever. I do what I want. Yeah, I think I would have pitched with this hunting lodge, but
Oh yeah. I would have too, because then you get the Ronin, you can do some drawing.
right. You get another village play with the hideout that's down there. So will Specialty just go ahead and take a province here? I mean, I think they don't really have a good path to victory regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, the path to victory involves Turtle Hippo dudding, which we know that Turtle Hippo is probably not going to do this turn, but they do not. They're going to just trash the Wisp, aren't they?
Yes.
Poor Wisp.
You know they will.
Okay, well...
I think they should have played the Hideout Trashed Hunting Lodge, to be honest.
Oh. I'm surprised that they pitched there. I was expecting them to just play the hideout and trash the estate. It's not like they need it. Wait. Interesting. I might have top decked another hideout there.
Well, aren't there hideouts?
Yeah, so now if you had two hideouts, you could either not have to trash the gold or the duchy, or you could play them both and have enough
Trash
actions for
Ronin,
Ronin and Sacred Grove,
That's
Sacred
the
Grove.
win.
Okay, well, fair enough.
There you go. All right. So this one goes to the Turtle Hippo.
Mm-hmm.
Their hideout strategy. One.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I don't love trying to maintain so many hideouts, but having more plus actions in the deck was still like better than the alternative, where Specialty did not have as much plus actions. And although I guess Specialty also had fewer Sacred Groves, but in a way that's a bad thing too, right? Because, well, not in a way, it just is. They had more golds, and gold is... Oh, I didn't actually realize that gold that Turtle Hippo gained at the end there was the first gold that they had. Okay, that changes my outlook on that.
Well, because they didn't, like, they bought Sacred Groves for payload.
Right, they never bought a gold. For some reason I thought they had... It was only Specialty that did. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, that's probably... Then that's more so the difference maker.
No, it's important to stay hydrated, although...
It is.
I guess most of us just grab a glass of water before they start the match.
But what if you drank the whole glass?
Oh, that's true! Or maybe they have a very small glass of water.
A shot glass.
Yeah. They have to...
A thimble.
Portionize. I forgot. There's this one person who only eats rice and doesn't like Fortress. I forgot their name for some reason.
DZ.
DZ, really? It was like, yes, yeah. DZ. DZ, that's true. I haven't seen DZ in a while. I hope
DZ retired from the Dominion Discord.
Oh, did you tell me about this?
Maybe. They posted about it. I don't...
Oh, you probably told me about this and I forgot. I just noticed I haven't seen them in a while because
Yep.
someone was talking about rice.
Yeah.
I was like, where's cheese at? Okay. Well.
Rice is nice and will suffice, but...
Ooh, look at this. This looks fun. Oh, this looks really fun. I like it.
We have Goat Herd as the only thinning.
Mm-hmm.
Advance can trash cards, but not the cards that you want to remove from your deck exactly. Sea Witch and Siren Cursing.
What do you mean? Loots are fun. Don't give
Tracer
off negative vibes here.
Tracer is complaining about the fact that he would pull. He would like buy his first wealthy village and he would get doubloons.
Yeah, okay,
and then he would buy another wealthy village and he would get insignia.
That is very fair. Yes, I feel you.
Now, this won't necessarily happen to other players, but
only to Tracer.
Well, not only to Tracer. I'm just saying it would happen to Tracer. It wouldn't necessarily happen to other players. It would happen to some other players.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, I mean, I've been there.
I think it would happen to Lemon Spawn.
I've been there. And
example.
I think it's fair to bring this up because I'm like, I see Wealthy Village and obviously I don't see I don't see those loots, right? I'm just like, ooh, it's a black market because you don't know what you get, but it's so fun. Okay.
So they both open Goat Herd. Goat Herd, and are we gonna get 4 Goat Herds in the opening here?
I would have opened Goat Herd Potion.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, University to gain Sea Witch is pretty fantastic.
How would you rank Sea Witch?
Oh, specialty open double Goat Herd and bottom deck the both.
Oh.
That's not called for. They are going to get to draw cards off of their Goat Herds next turn, though. So that's something. Sorry, what was the question?
How do you rank Sea Witch over Siren?
I really like playing with Siren. Like, I love the duration draw. But the thing is, like, you can gain Sea Witch with University, so it's as they say, Sea Witch is much cheaper. It's hard for me to see.
Yeah.
I mean, I would really love to have the Siren effect. It's just hard to justify detouring for it.
I would have gotten Potion as specialty.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, this is beautiful. You can get for a Turtle Hippo. You can get your second. University, get a Sea Witch.
Specialty just took 2 silvers, turns 3, 4. Yeah, I don't like that. I definitely would have liked one of those to be a gear, at least. Okay.
Getting
I see that they've joined the voice chat.
Especially XBAMITYC, is it you? You also want the potion in order to activate Wealthy Village.
Yeah,
so
you
don't need to buy a gold.
Right, yep. Copper, silver potion. So yeah, I mean, you do want a silver in the deck. I don't know if you want it already, but you do want it. Would I have gone double gear in their situation? Would I have possibly taken a Night Watchman? I don't think Night Watchman would be correct. Yeah, it looks like they're just not going to play with potions.
Sadness.
Turtle Hippo.
I do not think that's correct.
Oh, wait. Also, a specialty. Not only did they buy a gold, but they skipped buying a Sea Witch.
Chain nails, please.
Well, did Turtle Hippo buy gold game 1? I don't remember. They didn't buy it game 2.
I mean, this is very clearly a Wealthy Village now.
Well, I don't know. I might just prefer to have a Sea Witch. Wait, why are we not playing the gear?
Why are we not playing the gear? That's exactly what gear's for.
Well, it's not like I mean, if you don't want to set aside cards because you want to get the Wealthy Village, just don't set the cards aside. It's fine. See, look at this. If you did have a Siren, the sword attack would be friendly. Incredible.
Wow. The things we learned.
Yeah.
Incredible. Okay.
Yeah. This is could get Siren here. Oh, if they didn't play the Goat Herd. Yeah. I don't know that I would actually do that though. Yeah, I suspect this is going to be one of those boards where the players go for wealthy villages too aggressively, and as a result, don't get deck control. But we'll see.
You mean? You gotta get the loot.
you do need to get some loot. Like that is the plus buy. With the Siren loot, that's true. They do have the Siren loot now. They could actually, with Insignia, just like straight up get a Siren.
A Night Watchman. Interesting.
I don't hate that. Like, it is gonna. Although I don't know why we're leaving the silver on top, but it is gonna discard some stuff. Oh, clutch university draw there.
Beautiful. Okay, so Turtlehippo does not yet have.
No, but they're cruising along here. And they're going to be giving out curses.
Having the means to. They acquired a silver.
Got the universities. They do need to at some point like consider getting Hunting Lodge, because like University Sea Witch isn't net draw. But if you've got University Hunting Lodge, right, you can reduce your hand size with University and then draw back up with Hunting Lodge. Old DTX thing again.
Wow.
I mean, Wealthy Village Sea Witch is net draw, but they don't have a Wealthy Village, so. I mean, I certainly don't mind them, you know, like getting like 4 Sea Witches before they bother with Hunting Lodge, but it's just something to think about going forward. Ooh, Price Goat's still pretty nice at this point. Are they going to get another Night Watchman?
They might.
I mean, I think I would prefer...
Gear.
Yes, another gear. You've got a Sea Witch in place. You are going to already get some sifting next turn. Okay. Whoa, yeah. What? I didn't catch that. They discarded a Sea Witch to the sword. That's crazy. Wild.
Yes.
Well, they do go with Hunting Lodge already. I predict, yep. I was about to say I predict J Nails is going to be sad right now.
I predict a riot.
Because they're just like, I don't know if they're thinking about like I want to get to the Wealthy Village thing, or if there's a different reason for it.
No, they're thinking about getting to the well.
I mean, they do have
the
theoretical ability, but yeah. I mean, it isn't trivial. I do not think a Siren buy is very likely here. I would be tempted in their position.
Does that even work?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Siren tries to trash itself, but Insignia puts it on top of your deck.
Oh,
and so
because of Insignia. I was like, Night Watchman is not an action
card. Oh, no. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Oh, I don't. I mean, those Siren.
If you could advance the Night Watchman and get it out of your deck and get the Siren on top that way, that would make it look better. I guess it wouldn't really need to be advanced specifically, but yeah.
Well,
Figurehead. Okay. Not plus buy, but it's a nice card.
I mean, they're 50-50 on the plus buy right now, so. Well,
this is one of those situations where, like, somebody was talking in Discord about, like, being annoyed that Figurehead has good stats because people who just, like, stuff all the loot into their deck, like, they need draw, and Figurehead gives them draw, and so it makes Figurehead look like a better loot as a consequence. I think this is one of those situations where, like, this deck needs draw. Figurehead is draw, so it's a good pull for them.
Okay. I mean, I don't endorse the loot hate. So
no, they're not. They weren't saying that they hate loot. They were just saying that they think it's the figurehead having good stats is deceptive because of like the nature of the situations in which it performs well. I don't know how true that actually is.
How many sea witches does the turtle hippo have? So many. Oh, look at how close. Did specialty trash anything? Look at how close we. Oh, we should not have trashed. Oh.
Well, I don't know.
No, we need
There's still
the
6
loot.
wealthy villages left. I wouldn't. I'm fine with this.
I'm not fine. I'm so not okay.
I don't know that they need another university though.
Oh, and here they miss it again.
There is definitely such a thing as too many universities.
Sea witches and yeah. Especially when you have no payload. Anyway, my heart goes out to them.
Well, they do have payload. It's university.
Well, they're gonna miss Wealthy Village again.
Not necessarily.
Maybe.
Yeah, I agree with Tracer. Like they definitely have more control over their deck. They're gonna be giving out curses at a faster rate. I mean, on top of the fact that they have more sea witches. So like the remaining curses are mostly gonna probably end up in specialties deck.
Yeah, a specialty can trash them.
They can, but they have to like draw through and find the stuff.
I mean, if Turtle Hippo.
Oh, this is actually no. This is great. You gain 3 cards.
The Sea Witch?
And then you just hunting
because
lodge.
Of the hunting lodge.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. This
maybe
is
get some
maybe a few too many sea witches.
It's a lot of.
I think one more hunting lodge, or maybe some groundskeepers.
I would start on the groundskeepers now, because then also you don't need as much payload.
Like the thing is, you don't as Turtle Hippo, you don't necessarily want to be pushing piles right now.
Look at this! Look at the Wealthy Village. It's right there.
I guess there's not really a third pile that's under threat of emptying, though.
Oh my god. Wonderful.
Oh,
beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay. Yeah, so they took a lot of sea witches, and it turns out that they were able to empty the curses without needing that many.
Oh my god, and they played 6 sea witches this turn.
Yeah, don't play that. Don't play the one that you got there. Please do not. You want to have that draw, like the actual draw available for your next turn.
You need the Wealthy Village now. Do it. Yay! Well, we got a plus buy.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, like I said, I think would have rather just taken a groundskeeper or 2 there with some of those universities, but yeah, it's true. No, I mean, maybe they could have just played, like, if they could have played 1 fewer Sea Witch last turn and they had like 5 Sea Witches in play.
Yeah.
And then this turn you gain 1 more Sea Witch.
Yeah.
Or 2 more Sea Witches, depending on how many that would leave, and like you have a little bit more draw this turn. I mean, the Hunting Lodge thing can still also help, of course. I mean, I think they're fine, to be clear. I think they're doing fine. Like,
yeah.
I'm you know, their general approach here I like. But
Groundskeeper.
I am expecting Specialty to buy another Wealthy Village, yeah. Well, and there is some there is like some reasoning to that. Don't where like
that.
They are currently up on points, piles are low. Turtle Hippo would presumably like to have more plus buy, but does have to be concerned about game ending. And actually,
and is low on payload, yeah.
If Specialty can find enough,
is not low on payload. Had a lot of money actually.
What, Turtle Hippo?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's the buys. Like,
yeah, exactly.
If Specialty
could double, I think. If
Specialty can find enough plus buy, they might be able to like just advance into 4 Wealthy Villages. Yeah, if Turtle Hippo draws here, I don't know if they'll have enough to double, but they if they take some groundskeepers,
yeah,
they'll have practically as much, and then at that point they'll pretty much have the game on lock.
Yeah.
So like specialty, I guess with 60, which is in hand, there's no real risk for Turtle Hippo of like dudding, but there is a risk of like just not drawing because most of their draw is in play already from the duration switches.
So okay.
Is it risky to go for the win this turn? Well, that's interesting. With 4 universities, you gain 4 wealthy villages, and then you buy a province. Yeah, you could do that.
We're not.
I mean, they're not doing it, but they could have.
Cuts. Tracer.
I don't think there's much reason to. However, I don't like this play of only getting these hunting lodges. I want to get some groundskeepers because I want to score enough that I'm not at risk of specialty being able to pile out with like just advance and like an estate or a duchy or even a province.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many buys specialty actually has, let alone their ability to line them all up, but I still would just like to score like a little bit more just to hedge against that. Oh, 3 hunting lodges. That's that's really pushing it.
Don't discard your just draw with your goat herd. Why not? What?
I don't know why they're not drawing with the goat herd, but maybe they're going to advance it.
Into what?
I don't know. I think drawing would have been better. Yeah, that estate doesn't really do anything because, well, I guess it could. Yeah, specialty can trash curse. Okay, I guess it can do something. Why wasn't Goatherd played? I do not know.
It would have drawn 2 cards.
Yeah, maybe not anything particularly useful looking at Turtle Hippo's hand, but
could have been a hunting lodge.
Well, that still wouldn't have been like it would. That would just be played and not like you wouldn't discard with it.
Yeah, so but you get further through your.
Well, getting past the hunting lodges doesn't matter. What would matter is like you have the copper potion, and so there's just not.
That could be it. What Janelle says.
Do they? Oh, yeah.
Just gear those curses.
I think after Rising Sun came out, Akuchi went quite some time assuming that Rice Broker crashing was mandatory until I, like, at some point was like, hey, like he like played it with a Herald or something and was like, what do I do? And I was like, you don't actually have to trash a card.
You don't?
No, it just gives
you
an action. Or like maybe it was like maybe he was.
I don't think Rice Broker is optional.
Maybe it was the part where you could trash an estate that he didn't realize. He thought you had to trash an action or a treasure.
A treasure. Yeah, I think that's more likely. I think Rice Broker is not optional. Okay,
yeah, maybe it's not yet. I think that's what it was. I think he thought you had to trash a treasure or an action. Anyway, so those sorts of things can trip people up. Is the point?
No, I mean, the goat herd thing. I think I learned that from spectating a match or something. I definitely thought it was not optional.
Okay, so Turtle Hippo really ought to be able to win here, whether it's by gaining hunting lodges, or I mean, I guess there's no reason to pick Wealthy Village at this point. Does this goat herd draw cards? I guess it does.
Wouldn't you? Okay.
Yeah, they should have discarded with the. It's better to, if you're going to pitch anyway, it's better to pitch with the first hunting lodge so that you can find the second hunting lodge later in your turn when it does something other than just give you the plus actions. Unless you like really need the terminal space right away.
So now, like, oops, sorry. the money that you're looking for is in your discard pile.
Mm-hmm.
You need to hit province.
Yeah.
And there you are. Okay. Okay. You can.
Well,
you can stop.
In theory, there was another line. Maybe they didn't have enough universities left for it, or they could like gain groundskeeper and then just need a duchy. But I think they didn't have enough groundskeepers for that. Enough universities. Oh, actually, one groundskeeper with duchy estate might have been enough.
Yes. Well, turtlehippo takes game 3.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to game 4. Oh, naked. Oh no.
Alrighty. Well, we've got treasurer for copper trashing and forge for general trashing, and then displace as well for getting rid of stuff.
Or encampments or encampments.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could also use it to gain plazas, and maybe eventually you can use it to gain provinces, but yeah. Probably silk merchant.
Yep.
And encampment. If you get there. Which, I mean, I guess you will if you want to, because there's Overlord, so you can play Overlord as Displace.
Yeah, so do you open Overlord, or do you open... Okay. But just because it's a 3/4, right? On a 4/3 you would open Silk Overlord?
Probably, yeah. J-Nails wants Overlord nothing.
Well, because it's 3.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could also open, like, Encampment Overlord or something. So they both go Silver Silk Merchant, which is...
Probably because it feels bad to, like, go into turn 3 with debt. But the reason being is if you see your Overlord turn 3, then, like, you can just start, like, immediately play it as something good.
Yeah.
So it's... I mean, that definitely was a learning moment for me as well.
Well, also, like, I mean, everybody says, you know, Silk Merchant, amazing card, best card, gotta get it, right? So you think like, oh, well, I better open Silk Merchant. So, but I do think in this particular case, it's better to just open up with the Overlord. You can get Silk Merchants with Overlord as Displace.
Exactly.
Or you know, potentially as Treasurer, depending on when you see it and how much debt you have and stuff like that. I mean, Displace is probably better anyway, but, you know,
should Treasurer be your first 5?
I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter too much, because if you do get an Overlord, you can just play the Overlord as the other one.
Yeah.
But I think in the long run...
I feel like I've been conditioned on Highwayman the past, like, couple months. I don't exactly know why it has to be. It has to be something with the TGG campaigns, but I don't know. I've been very tunnel visioned with Highwayman.
Highwayman's a good card.
As of lately.
I would... Oh, you're saying that is first 5? Actually, I can see the argument for that, because... non-command, non-duration on Overlord, and so you have to actually have a Highwayman to play a Highwayman, whereas you don't have to have a Displacer or a Treasurer to play those.
Yep.
So I could see the argument is for Highwayman as first 5, yeah.
Ooh, someone got a Forge and got a nice hand for a Forge.
Yes. Although, this is like a bit too much stuff.
It's fine, just turn 3 estates into gold. It's okay. J-Nails just looks the other way.
Well, J-Nails doesn't mind gaining golds. He just minds buying.
That's true.
Actually, no, you know what? No, I think you're right. Getting the gold and then you buy an encampment. Yeah. No, that does look good. That does look good.
Do it.
Encampment's not the only plus actions here, but is... Oh.
No.
Interesting.
But why?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're better off just like taking the encampment there, and then this turn you can buy the Overlord.
Yes.
Well, I mean, here you can forge copper, copper, silver into silver, and then buy an encampment. I think I would do that. It'll be a pretty thin deck. Yay. And then you can potentially displace the forge once you're done with it. I guess you're not done with it, but once you are. I haven't been paying as much attention to what Special T has been up to. Not having a forge in their deck. Not much is clear. Takes the key.
You would have liked to see a copper trash there.
Maybe. I mean,
this could be 2 encampments,
if
3 encampments, or 2 encampments Overlord, or encampment gold Overlord.
I think
since they're not trash, they probably shouldn't go for.
I think if they get a forge here, I'm okay with Treasurer taking the key. I think otherwise I'm not. Okay. Still in the chat. That's the second time that they've done the thing like right after I've said it. It's just funny, that's all.
No comment.
It's not funny.
What? No, I'm just not commenting. I don't know, you should be more concerned about that, I guess.
I'm not concerned.
As a league mod.
I'm not concerned.
Okay.
Nobody would do that. Nobody in their right mind would do that, like, intentionally, maliciously, whatever. And then if they did it, like, without realizing they weren't supposed to do it, I think they would pretty quickly realize.
Why?
Why what?
Why not play Overlord as encampment or plaza or whatever?
And
just like have a bigger turn.
Yeah, no, that probably would be better. I mean, I'm not surprised that they felt obligated to take the key, but ooh, this is an unfortunate draw. I mean, not necessarily in the like relative to expectation, but what?
2 encampments.
Well, the thing is, like, they have the forge, right? What they want to do is draw the estates with the forge, and
yeah, that's true.
So that's why I say that. It's not unfortunate relative to like what they were expected to see, but it's just like
that's true.
It's sad.
Yeah, it's a sad situation.
It's a sad situation. So okay, now if you wait,
you play the encampment.
No, this is fine because you got the gold down there. You don't need the draw. But what I was thinking about was, given that we know we have this overdraw, I guess we can use that to gain and play with the forge, like the encampment. Although, what are we gaining and playing? I mean, I guess you could forge the Silk Merchant rather than playing it. I don't know what you'd be forging it into. I guess just another Silk Merchant. Forge Silk Merchant, 3 coppers into Silk Merchant, and buy... I don't know what. I mean, I think the fact that Turtle Hippo is so much thinner, like, they're in a good position. I'm not exactly sure where they should go from here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what do you even do?
I mean, I would like to get...
I would like
to get a Highwayman going.
I think I just...
Yeah, I think this is basically just like a slightly worse version of what I was suggesting because you don't get the coffer and the villager. That you would have if you'd forged into Silk. Oh, I definitely don't like that, and J-Nails won't either. But like, I think, yeah, you can ramp more effectively here by playing with like the action cards, in particular Displace, and just relative to just buying gold. Like, you don't really need to buy gold for here, I don't think. Like if you just buy Displace there, you can do something like Displace Forge to Province, and then play Overlord as Displace to displace Province to Gold.
Yeah.
Or the other way around, depending on what you're trying to do that turn.
We're gonna see them displacing with their Overlord, but yeah, it'd be nice to have two. Hippos are actually the most dangerous.
Yeah.
For like
the most dangerous to humans, yeah. They're very violent.
Is that why they are endangered?
I don't know.
Are they?
I don't even know if they are endangered. Yeah, I'm just gonna take Janiel's word for it. Okay, so you gotta play. You gotta play the encampment here. Yeah, so I think just do Overlord as Displace.
Oh my god, specialty is not having a great time.
I wonder if Turtle Hippo is just not like seeing the Displace stuff.
Could be. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I would like something like Encampment Displace and either Silk Merchant or Plaza here. I guess I shouldn't expect that. I mean, I don't hate taking the key. I just think you can do more with Displace. And this Forge is just like sitting there, not doing anything. And realistically, I mean, you can do stuff like Forge 2 Silk Merchants into Province later in the game. But I think it's generally going to be more efficient to just displace the Forge and then play with Displace stuff.
And
now we don't have any villagers and we don't have any plus actions in the starting thing, which is pretty well. I guess you can forge a Silk Merchant, but it's not actually going to give you actions.
This is a wild draw, isn't it? Considering you have 3 encampments.
It is pretty unlikely, yeah. So I don't mean to suggest that it's not like they like are getting punished for their buys exactly. Forge Silk Merchants to Silk Merchants to villagers. That's true. That's true. Yeah, you could just do that. Yeah, that's probably correct.
My heart goes out to specialty. They still have 2 estates.
But they just go for the province instead.
That's expected.
Oh, why do you get Imperial Envoy there? You definitely do not need Imperial Envoy in this deck.
Ooh.
They have 3 encampments. Their deck is really quite small.
Yeah.
I mean, just taking another Silk Merchant would be enough draw, or like a Highwayman or something.
I guess if you are aiming for the plus buy, then yes, Silk Merchant is definitely better than Imperial Envoy for your deck, just because, yeah, like you just said, you don't need the draw from Imperial Envoy. Like the Silk Merchant draw is enough, and Silk Merchant gives you that.
It gives you the Villager in the coffer, it gives you the buy, that the extra 3 cards the Envoy draws are not going to generate you more value than the 2 deck to accrue, because you just don't have enough cards in your deck to even find. Like, you literally don't even need this Imperial Envoy this turn.
Well, I guess you do need it if you want to forge it into a province.
I suppose, yeah.
Wow. So here you could displace gold into province, forge into province, and then buy a province.
I think I would rather displace province to gold, actually. Just because like you have these encampments in your deck. You want to be able to keep them around, and then you can displace the golds next turn. Although you got to get like probably a real displace for that. But
well, let's see. Moment of truth.
Okay. Well, on the one hand, unexpected.
Ooh, rough.
I mean, Turtle Hippo is still like totally winning this game, but
yeah. But like Specialty should not have played that merchant. Although,
well, I don't know that they knew that.
Would you have played that Silk Merchant?
Not paying attention to like their deck composition, but
I think they have 2 plazas.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like you just play silver, get encampment, be sad. Oh, why not even encampment?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're sadness levels are too high.
Maybe
they could also bought a Silk Merchant.
I wouldn't know what that's like.
2 coffers. They're gonna do Forge to Province.
Probably.
I think I would actually prefer in their position for that particular moment. Well, assuming you're playing Overlord as Displace, which I'm not actually sure I would have in that situation, but I think I would have preferred Displace Province to Gold and Forge Province to Province, because you don't really need the points.
Yeah. So I feel like when opponents say things like that and don't resign, you
have a sad.
Yeah. I get a little frustrated.
Is this going to be another? No. Okay. Get the golds back. Yeah. Okay, good. This is what I wanted them to do. Because now they can win.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Well played there. I was.
Yep.
I don't think I had seen them do Province to Gold yet, so I wasn't sure if they would like look at that line. But yeah.
Nice. All right, so Turtle Hippo tying the match, if nothing else. I'm going into game 5. And it's not as naked as before, but still no landscapes, which is always sad.
Yeah. Okay, so the key to this board is to have a 2-5. Neither player has accomplished that particular objective, so I'm not super impressed with their play so far.
Wow, harsh. The negative
I mean,
ways.
if you have a 2-5, I mean, it's probably clear enough, but you have a 2-5 here and you can open Peasant Sentry, and it's just ridiculously good. Sentry is the only trashing.
Let's look at Footpad. Not particularly. Well, I guess Wheelwright, and then Treasure Hunter.
Also Wishes off of Magic Lamp.
Treasure Hunter is the other line, right? This is not the...
Correct.
Disciple.
The Disciple gets a much needed buff. Yeah.
Finally.
And also when you
you pop
play,
your lamp.
not when you pop your lamp, but when you gain the wishes. Or sorry, play the wishes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If you would let me finish. Actually, I interrupted you.
Anyway,
what a good window into a relationship.
Sure. So I think the There's a lot going on here because, like, you want to get to Sentry,
Yes.
you want to get Peasant up the line, you want to populate Lamb.
Yeah, I would be so overwhelmed here. I'd be just, I guess I just click Peasant and like try to hit Sentry.
Well, compared to normal, you definitely want like multiple Peasants less than you would normally do. Oh, Specialty did not open with Peasant. Oh, but they do get a Sentry. But I still don't like not opening with Peasant.
You don't like? Oh, not opening with Peasant. Yeah.
Oddball themed? I don't remember.
Yeah, well, clearly because you didn't get it.
Apparently not.
This tracks.
I'm not even sure. Well, whatever.
No, this is very important. You should try your hardest now to remember what it was. Okay. So turtlehippo already shaping up for...
Oh, wait, Specialty does have a Peasant now. When did that happen? Oh, they just got one turn 4. Okay. Oh. Better late than never. So Specialty does also have a second Sentry, which is good.
Yeah. Helps you with the
although, I mean, there is some downside to it with Magic Lamp. So you do need to be thinking about that. Please do not trash your Magic Lamp, but please also do not top deck it. No. Oh. Wait, they got a third Sentry?
No.
Yeah, they must be planning to put plus card on it.
Okay. But like,
which
okay,
isn't...
so in general, sometimes there are
or plus actions on it, maybe,
where the lamp might not like it. It's just not happening, but it's rare.
I don't know if I've ever
this is not
experienced that.
one.
Meanwhile,
turtlehippo is looking at a lamp pop.
Yeah. I mean, it's not guaranteed yet, but it's extremely likely.
Oh, they have 4 Sentry.
Yeah, like I said, they've got to be planning on putting a teacher token on Sentry. Plus card, plus action, something. I don't know. But meanwhile, they don't have any money because they discarded with Secret Cave. The fact that they still have 2 estates with this many Sentries in their deck is
impressive.
The Sentry experience.
It's yeah. So
all right,
this is a nice
now we got it.
Lamp pop here. Use Throne in the future.
Discard the Sentry.
Right. You don't need to.
You should, because you want to make sure you have all the uniques, right?
Don't you have
Sentry?
You have silver.
Yeah, but you're not guaranteed to find it.
You are if you Throne Fugitive.
No, you draw 4 cards.
And then you play your Sentry.
But that still wouldn't guarantee it. Anyway, they've got it.
They sure do.
They were also getting up to Disciple, and they get a Wharf. That's good. Yeah, this is looking very good for Turtlehippo.
It is. And now that is your deck.
Specialty still has 2 estates in hand. Oh my god.
And that's your deck. And so next turn you're gonna have 2 money.
I think they should take a wheelwright. Like, at least then they can start like gaining stuff off
or a
of
footpad.
Well, you can gain a footpad off the wheelwright.
That's true.
You can also wheelwright an estate, gain a peasant, and then you can trash the damn estate. Secret Cave can also do this, but it's more expensive. Well, I think the percentage of games in which it's been in my deck at the end of the game is lower than 39%.
You don't need a wharf. You absolutely do not need a wharf.
Yeah. %. Yeah. Is that including resignations though?
It's true. They were definitely failing to draw a deck with 4 centuries.
Can you throne room a wish?
You can, but you're not gonna get 2 cards.
Yeah. If you did is the key thing here. And so you will get the plus actions. Well, they can... Oh, they're going to draw a card, though. What? You wished for secret... Oh, never mind. You wished for gold.
Why, though?
I don't know. I mean, getting a bit of gold into your deck isn't... No. Getting a gold into your deck isn't terrible here, but, like, you can... Like... Well... I guess I can see the argument for wishing for gold. I think if you're going to do that, you also want to wish... Like, you also... should also get like a wheelwright, probably, so you can gain like action cards. But like, it is the payload here, unless or until you get a teacher and put coin token on something, is not like the strongest in terms of money. Wait, trash to silver?
Gain another wharf.
Why trash the silver?
I don't know.
Strange.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a good time to take another peasant up the line. You got 7 coins.
And not play this wharf.
No, not the gold peasant wheelwright.
Whoa.
Oh, we got one of them. Oh, I didn't even realize Specialty had gotten the teacher. I mean, they did have the disciple last turn. It makes sense, but I didn't realize they'd actually done it. Well, given that we're going to play teacher as our terminal anyway, I actually think Specialty could have set this up to like guaranteed trash the estate by discarding the secret cave. Oh well. Okay, so Turtle Hippo did take a teacher, and nobody's taken a second peasant, so nobody's going to be actually playing with Disciple. I'm crying on the inside. I don't necessarily dislike getting a teacher on this board. I think there's good stuff you can do with it, but
what are we
Disciple
doing?
is like maybe the best card in the game.
Also, it's okay to cry for men. Like, you don't, if it's really overwhelming, you don't have to suppress it. Just let you know this is a safe space.
Yeah, thank you.
YouTube is a safe space. YouTube.
Yes, as Tracer said, they were trying to trash the estate, but they did not.
No, I know, but I don't. I just, yeah, I didn't.
No. Well, okay. I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt anything to throw the teacher.
Get that foot bad. Come on.
No, well, sure, I guess. I mean, I want a wheelwright first and foremost.
I know, but I want the foot bad.
You can get a foot bad from wheelwright.
Is about me, but I want it now.
2 gold.
I want it all, and I want it now.
You could be playing, like, we could be playing with other peasant that could become a disciple.
Yeah, we
best
could.
Card.
We could. So we want bigger for these decks. We want more.
Yeah, I don't even. Oh wait, the first thing we did was plus card. But you don't need plus cards.
You really don't. You really don't.
Wait. We didn't want to trash the estate?
This is so confusing.
It's very confusing.
Do they think that they can put more tokens on one card?
They might, yeah, they might. If they think that, well, it still would have been correct to take coin first, right? But
yeah. So your deck is super, super thin.
wait, you didn't know that you only have 1 silver?
No.
But you saw your whole deck the past like 3 turns.
Yeah. Yeah. Given that your deck is extremely thin and 5, 6, 7 of your 10 cards are draw cards, you do not need more draw. You need payload at this moment. Not in the form of silver.
Well, I mean, at this exact moment in time, I think buying a silver is reasonable. But it's not where you want it to end up.
I don't know. I'd rather get the footpad over the silver or the wheelwright.
But they want to play the teacher this turn.
Well, they shouldn't.
Well, I mean, honestly, maybe not, because they aren't going to have a good target for it because they already have plus card on Sentry. But if they didn't realize that...
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. As for Turtle Hippo, I mean, they're in a much better spot.
Yes.
But yeah, all of these golds, I mean, they're fine. They're not like bad. It's just, I think you could, like, even just putting 1 wheelwright in your deck would give you so much more explosive potential, because the wheelwright is going to like be able to add all kind of cards to your deck, including just like more wheelwrights, so that then you can do multiple gains of other things. You could potentially put a teacher token on it. You could gain that footpad like Strumpf was talking about. You can do a lot of good stuff. I'll wheelwright in a single turn, probably. If they had one.
Yeah. Yup. Wait, how did we get, did we buy a copper?
Yes. Yes, they bought a copper last turn.
Well, mistakes were made.
So wheelwright, you play the wheelwright. If you play the wheelwright, you discard.
You're like, you don't buy copper over peasant.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, okay, so right now specialty does not have any plus actions. They can get a little bit of plus actions from the teacher potentially, except they need a target for it. So, of course, they don't really need to be playing Wharf, so they could just play peasants instead of Wharf, and then they could, send the peasants up the line.
Put plus action on.
Yeah. But even if they didn't want to do that for whatever reason, they could just play peasant instead of Wharf, because it's not like Wharf is really doing anything for them right now.
Ooh. All right. This is looking very nice. The turtle.
Yeah.
Where does it say in the rules that you can't put more tokens on one? Does it say with teacher?
Yeah. You have no tokens on. So this also applies if you have like Pathfinding, Lost Arts, Seaway, even Plan. Like even if you put your Plan token on something, you can't. Or Fairy. It's like once there's a token on there that the teachers taught them everything, it can be taught, and even if somebody else taught them that, the teacher's still not interested.
The sensei.
Yeah, so specialty doesn't really have the ability to like come back in this game, but for what it's worth, okay, well, okay, no, I'm gonna put that thought on hold and talk about this. There is no real reason to take plus actions on Wharf here. You've already got throne rooms in your deck that can give you the plus actions that you need. If you just take like coins, like here you get to 20, or sorry, to 19. You might be able, I guess they didn't have enough wharves in their deck for coin on Wharf to do much. Coin on Throne Room, they could have gotten 3 coins, which wouldn't be quite enough, but so it kind of doesn't matter really, but I would still say in general here, like, one of the things about buying all these golds is like if you get a big stack of one of the cards and you put plus coin on it, like you can get more money that way than you get from golds, especially if you can gain the card with Wheelwright. Anyway, going back to what I was going to say earlier is specialty didn't really have the ability to come back at the point at which this happened, but just in terms of like a kind of a process thing. So last turn specialty brought Province Secret Cave. This deck that specialty is playing is not capable of winning the game by like single provincing. It's not really capable of winning the game, period. But I still think like you want to think about it in terms of like what am I like, you know, what would my path to victory look like? And here realistically it's like, there isn't one, but if you were going to have one, it would look like building bigger than that. Yeah. Because your opponent is already outpacing single province turns.
I think specialty started off really well and then was extremely trashed and didn't know how to go from there. And yeah, so yeah. You had 1 sentry too many, maybe 2. You did not need the wharf. So like Sharur said, just get that Wheelwright and go from there, because then you can add to your deck and build back up. And also, yeah, I think specialty did well in the beginning, but trashing that magic lamp.
Trashing the magic lamp might have just been game losing on its own, regardless of anything else that was going on. Because it's really hard to replace those gains. Because the payload is actually not that strong on the board outside of like gaining actions with Wheelwright. Yeah, I think I do like getting the second sentry early. I'm not sure about getting it before I've popped the magic lamp, but I do like having a second sentry in the deck. Beyond that, I know that it like seems appealing to get a big stack of something and then put a teacher token on it, but it's more important to optimize for the journey rather than the destination.
Wow.
Also life before death and strength before weakness. But anyway, see, you like your deck is not really benefiting from those additional sentries along the way.
All taking notes.
And even once you do get to the teacher, like even if you do want to put plus card on sentry, even just doing that on 2 or 3 sentries is going to be a lot of draw. Like doing it on 4 or 5 sentries, especially when you're super thin, is going to be more than you need. So,
okie dokes.
Well,
wet it.
This board has
sure is something.
Sook.
What does it have?
Sook. And you can credit for Sook and trash 2 estates.
That's nice.
Do that.
Is Sook
turtlehippo did not do that.
Good here?
Huh?
Is Sook good here?
Trashing 2 estates is good.
Okay. And on that basis alone, you're gonna get a Sook?
Yes. Yes, legitimately yes.
Okay.
That looks great to me. You end up, so and then you can pay it off.
On the 2/5, especially.
On the 2/5, you trash juice. Well, it doesn't really matter that it's 3/4. It also works. Like it's the same thing essentially.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that. I mean, I don't mind getting the vampire, right? Like I think vampire is good, but what do I want to gain with vampire? I want to gain a Sook so I can trash states. So
you could just shortcut that.
Exactly.
I would banish here.
Yeah. It is admittedly a quite awkward board overall. There's no.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
There's no. Well, no, that's not true. There is on. Okay, there's draw and actions. Oh, there's pilgrim. Okay, there's draw and there's actions, but the draw is terminal and the actions are difficult to sustain.
Yeah, the actions are terminal too.
Kind of. I think. I think you do probably play with some acting troops here, but I don't think you expect to build a deck that's like gonna just draw itself every turn until the end of the game. I just don't think you can get enough actions out of acting troop to do that. So what I'm looking to do is more something like play with like a couple Sooks and maybe a couple like replaces or something, and then like, you know, do something like I replace a card so that my Sook makes more money because I've reduced my hand size by 2, and then I have some villagers from acting troop, and then I play the Sook and I buy province or something like
that. I think so. I would look at this board and be like, oh, this is terrible. I'm not even gonna try this acting troop thing because it's gonna be annoying. And like, what do I want my terminal to be? And then I would probably try and do on.
I think if I was going to play with one terminal, it would be replace. Because replace can get me multi-province turns and also junk the opponent.
Can I get you more?
Yeah.
On this board?
Yeah.
You're gonna get a gold that you can, or like whatever province enough.
You don't need to do it every turn. You just need to have the threat. But I mean, and you can. There's multiple ways to hand size attack here. One of the ways is to have some skirmishers in the deck. So like you can play some skirmishers, then you can replace another skirmisher, and then like get the hand size attack without needing to play like catapult. But if you're playing with Sook, you don't necessarily mind getting hand size attacked. So that's one of the reasons like I'm, you know, interested in Sook. Also because it's Sook and Sook is me.
I was not aware of this Sook adoration.
It's just a really good card. It's like, and it's a good card in a way that's like different from a lot of other good cards. There are people who complain about it and say it's like too strong. It's like, oh, gamble Sook and practice Sook, which I mean, I understand the argument, but I don't know. I just think it's like the way that it's strong is cool. It's like it creates a very different experience from a lot of other strong Dominion cards. Anyway, I haven't actually been paying much attention to what they've been doing. We've done some amulet trashing. We've gotten a few. Well, turtlehippo's gotten a few acting troops. A few vampires out there. I see now that some skirmishers have been gained. Yeah, I mean, you could, like, a thing you can do also is you can play some skirmishers, or at least one skirmisher, and then you play a vampire, gain another one, and do your attack that way.
Just stocking up on those.
I don't mind that.
Oh, are we gonna see an attack? Oh no, we can't. Oopsie.
Not if they trash a state. I mean, they could have. Well, they still could. They could buy a catapult, but
For credit.
True. Yeah.
Chose to get in on the acting groups, which I don't really know that they need because I only have one terminal.
Yeah, not at the moment. I would I guess going back to like the thing about
I would like to be.
Yeah. That looks good.
Yes. Yeah.
Going back to the replace Souk thing, the other thing is like you can replace. Although I guess if you open Souk to trash 2 estates, then you only have 1 estate left to do this with. But you can at least replace state into acting troop, and then maybe you can do the obnoxious copper to estate thing, and then just put those estates into acting troops. Yeah. So I think that something like that would be what I do. Yeah, but maybe I would play also with the skirmishers.
Second,
Vampire also activates skirmisher.
True.
Specialty did do the banish, so they're still in the voice chat.
Turtlehippo is also doing stuff that you suggest, so.
Oh, really?
Sometimes, I feel like. More than 0 times.
But that specifically?
Maybe? I'm getting tired, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it is an interesting approach to just be like, I'm just gonna slam acting troops, and then like maybe later with my vampires, I start gaining the terminal draw, and then like I have a ton of villagers with which to play that terminal draw. I don't know that I would expect that to be effective, but
scared for that. Like, I'll run out eventually, and there's no.
Oh, you'll certainly run out eventually.
No plan for. So yeah, I don't know. I would just try and do a money-ish and not worry about.
So do you view acting troop as only village boards as just like might as well not have any villages?
Yeah.
I do think there are times when that's correct, but I think it is a card. Like when it's the only village, it's a card that rewards like looking for ways to like do a little bit better than that, right? Like you don't. It's not like you just have a regular village, but
maybe it feels especially like precarious here because there's no easy buy, except for you would say, well, there's two. But you know, if I had, I don't know, foragers or whatever, or like any like
market
non-terminal plus,
yeah,
then I'd be more inclined to buy acting troops. But if the one buy that I have has to be acting troops, I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe in it.
Yeah, well, that's I'm saying. Like, I would not aim to play like a lot of terminals per turn, but I would just want to like have like a little bit of, you know, be able to play like, you know, 2 terminals here, 3 terminals there, but maybe not every turn. Like,
yeah. So, is specialty.
Based on what we've observed so far, I'm going to say yes. They are going to run out of bat food unless they start gaining silvers with amulet, which I guess is fine. Yeah, it's a reasonable like. It's a reasonable spot that they're in right now. They are gonna have trouble like sustainably provincing, I think.
Probably. I mean, what they could do is just always gain active buff.
Oh, I didn't even mean. I mean, you can just play like amulet one turn, then envoy the next turn or something. But I just mean because like as you add provinces into the deck, like your deck is just like some skirmishers and silvers, and it's just not going to like easily hit 8 every turn.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Oof. Like this turn.
Well, it depends on the discard, right? The discard a skirmisher. I think I would have discarded the vampire instead. Because they know they're going to see at least one skirmisher, and then like they're going to be able to attack, and the vampire makes it easier for them to attack. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised that like Turtle Hippo. Well, I guess Turtle Hippo in general has like built more, but Specialty, I guess, did get thinner last game at least. I feel like there were some other games though where Turtle Hippo focused more on thinning. I'm a little surprised that they're as unthin as they are here, given what we've seen from them in previous games.
So they're debating between acting troop and skirmisher, I assume?
Yeah, I would. I mean, they don't know what Turtle Hippo's got in hand. In their position, I would probably just attack. I probably wouldn't worry about getting another acting troop right now. Like, I have a villager. I only have these 2 terminals. Like, there's a decent chance that I have a turn like this where I just play the amulet and I don't need the villagers yet anyway. So, I mean, obviously this works out fine enough. You can play amulet, gain a silver, trash the copper with the bat, and then you've got your 4 villagers, which, with the way your deck is constructed, should be enough to last you the rest of the game. But if you didn't have the acting troop this turn and you had attacked skirmisher, your opponent wouldn't have gotten a province for what that's worth, and you still wouldn't have a villager left because you wouldn't have spent it there.
Well.
He discarded the bat. Yeah, they don't know that Turtle Hippo has another bat in hand. It's actually a pretty friendly discard.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing with Turtle Hippo's deck is that they have arguably like too many villagers relative to the number of terminals that they have in their deck. And
wait, did they not? They forgot to buy.
Yeah, they did.
You can.
They should ask for an undo.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I would. They should ask.
Yeah.
Well, IPSB. The thing is, like, if you put enough terminals into your deck over time, then that could be a good number of villagers to have. I just don't anticipate that they're actually going to do this because they bought a province and it looked like they were setting up to buy a province there, notwithstanding that they didn't. I mean, I think that maybe the better way to put it is I think there are versions of decks that you could build on this board where you would want that many villagers. But I don't think the Turtle Hippo has built that deck.
Sadness.
So far, meanwhile, for Specialty, it's been going pretty well in terms of, like, they had the one turn where they didn't see the envoy, but they saw like none of their money there, so it didn't really like actually hurt them. Place. Okay. We've added a terminal and something that can gain stuff, increase the amount of green that we can get in a turn, and also attack the opponent. Those are all good things. Including the best deck here. Yes. Probably.
Would you go Skirmisher over Banish?
That's an interesting question. I don't think I would actually in Specialty's position.
Wait, Specialty doesn't have any golds.
Specialty really wants to reliably province for the rest of the game. Adding a Skirmisher does a lot less work towards that goal. Okay, adding a Replace is interesting, though. That might actually be a better line, because they do have a points lead. They can replace province into province. It still does the attack. The one problem is that...
Oh, Turtlehippo also got a Replace.
Yeah, last turn.
Oh, okay.
The problem with Special T having gained a Replace is that Envoy... I guess this is also true for Turtlehippo. You know, you play Envoy, and then they just discard the Replace, and then you never get to play it.
Yeah.
So...
And also... Yeah, okay.
And also? Another Replace. Interesting. That seems like a lot of Replace to me, but we'll see how this works out. Meanwhile, Specialty can bring this game to the brink of completion, and should.
Yep. Do it. Yay! Beautiful.
Yeah, this was a particularly good draw for them to like see, like they got to play the Envoy, but they also got to play the Replace, which is not expected.
Yep. So...
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I guess... A little short.
Yeah. Just short. Yeah, of course it's difficult to know how things would have shaken out if Turtlehippo had asked for the undo, bought that province. But in general, I know that like it's easy to just think, okay, no undos if you've drawn cards. But in this type of situation, like it's very clear that you forgot your buy, so it's totally fine to ask for an undo.
Yeah.
In that situation.
Yeah. The simple answer is that Specialty would have won anyway, because
you think?
Yes, because at the point where at this point when Specialty gained the second to last province, even if Turtlehippo had an extra 6 points, they would have been behind. But obviously, you know, other things could have changed as a consequence of that.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Incredible. So obviously it was all calculated to not buy that province. I mean, well, that's the thing. Like, I jest because obviously we would have bought something, but like there is like, you know, there is value in delaying putting green into your deck sometimes, especially when your deck, like, you know, has more potential in it, you know, but it needs time to realize that potential, and that was certainly the case here.
For sure. That's also like an area where I need to improve, because I also feel like often I'm like, okay, I've built my deck, and what to do now? Well, I guess I'll just green now. Instead of, I don't know, just building more or trying like to like tile instead of province.
Yeah, it is a tricky thing. I think it's one of the core skills in Dominion, but it's like fully mastering it is like extremely tricky because you like there are cases where it makes sense to basically postpone greening indefinitely until your opponent does something to force the issue, because like you're ahead, you have more capability, and you just want to, all you really want to do is position yourself in a way where you stay reliable so that you don't like lose because you dudded, and then you like have enough reach to threaten to win the game if they don't respond in a certain way, or like you're putting yourself in the position to threaten that, or what have you. But there are other games where the tempo of scoring is important enough that you really should transition to greening at a certain point, because even if your opponent has like the worst deck, if they get a lead, that your deck, the differential between your decks is not going to be enough for you to overcome that lead. And being able to identify like which of those situations is which is a skill that is not easy to master. Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations to the turtle hippo.
Yeah.
I think, we did have a lot of notes, but in general, I think well played to turtle hippo. And so yeah, first league season ever, doing pretty well.
Yeah, I would say they seemed, in general, to be more inclined to build, and we've commentated matches before where people got punished for that because they didn't have like the execution down of their building. And I think we saw that in the first game here, but they were able to play it well enough to win these other games. This one in particular, I think easily could have gone Specialty's way. I don't think Turtle Hippo had as clear of a game plan as they did in some of the other games, but there was still a good job on their part to find like a path that gave them the opportunity to win, and then to like take advantage of it when it was there. Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. And there might be more comments 3 weeks.
There might. It's impossible to say for sure.
As everything.
Right. But we'll see you for that if and when it occurs. So,
bye.
Until then.